let's answer two questions that we had when we started going through the baby steps.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along.
As I watched my son take his first steps, I was astounded by the transition that he made from walking, from stumbling, to running. It's crazy. It was just like that. But he didn't get there overnight. He had to take baby steps. Most of us are familiar with the saying, crawl before you walk, walk before you run. So why not incorporate that in our financial decisions? Baby step number 1 is save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Starter emergency fund. Let's answer two questions that we had when we started going through the baby steps. And number 1 is, why have an emergency fund? Is that really important? Number 2 is, why only $1,000? Is that really enough? These are questions that we asked ourselves, and I want to provide answers. I want to provide clear answers to these questions. So let's go. Why have an emergency fund? To answer this question, I want to introduce you to Murphy. Murphy is our unwanted guest. Murphy will come at the most inconvenient time. Murphy will intrude your life unannounced. Murphy claims that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Car problems, house problems, medical problems, personal problems, they all add up and they cost a lot of money. This is why it's critical to have an emergency fund. Because life will happen. Now you might be wondering, is $1,000 really enough to cover these expenses? Newsflash, it's not. So why only $1,000? Why not $2,000? Why not $3,000? Why not $1 million? Well, first and foremost, $1,000 is better than nothing. According to careerbuilder.com, 66% of Americans will have trouble paying for $1,000 emergency. That's 66, that's over 50% of Americans that will have problems, that will have troubles, that will have a hard time to pay for an emergency that costs them $1,000. 66%. Are you part of that 66%? Don't worry, we were once there. We were once in a boat where if an emergency arises, or if an emergency arose, is arose even a word? I think arose. If an emergency presented itself, we were in panic mode. We were there. Second, as you can see, it is only a starter emergency fund. STARTER. Starter. Start. This is only the beginning. Starter. For what will become your fully funded emergency fund. Right? This $1,000 in baby step number 3 will turn into a fully funded 3 to 6 months worth of emergency fund. Again, this is only a starter emergency fund. I can't stress that enough. It will grow. It will be more than $1,000. Third reason why only $1,000 for now is because $1,000 is an achievable goal. It is less than $2,000. It is less than $3,000, which if you're watching this video and you're getting value out of it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is an achievable goal. This is something you can reach. And this achievable goal, once you hit that mark, it will boost your motivation to keep going through the baby steps. An emergency fund is a cushion. An emergency fund is a cushion against Murphy. An emergency fund keeps you from borrowing more money to get yourself out of that emergency. That's asinine. You are in debt and you have an emergency, so you're going to keep borrowing. An emergency fund keeps you from borrowing money whenever an emergency arises. Baby step number 1 is save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Again, starter emergency fund. This plan works. It won't work if you don't want it to work. If you keep finding excuses to not start this baby step, it won't work that way. If you keep making excuses, oh, you know what, $1,000 is not enough, so I'll just save $2,000. Stop. Save $1,000, follow the steps, and it will work. It worked for me. In light of these events that are happening in our lives, that's affecting our lives in so many ways, I can comfortably say that I don't have that financial panic in the back of my mind, or that feeling of am I going to be able to feed my family throughout these times? Am I financially stable throughout these crazy pandemic times? I can comfortably say, and please don't take it that I'm bragging, because I'm not. The peace that I have in me financially wise, that feeling is great. That feeling is something that nobody can take away from me, because I know that I can provide for my family, right? We can get through these tough times and share what we have to other people as well. I'm telling you, it is a great feeling to give. It is great. This plan will work. It won't work if you don't want it to work. Quit looking for holes and start attacking your debt. You don't want to dig a deeper hole when an emergency arises and now you have to borrow more money. Quit borrowing money, and this emergency fund will set you up for success. Baby step number 1 will eventually turn to baby step number 7, which is build wealth and give generously. Tired of being sick and tired? Tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Tired of the financial stressors that you are facing today? I have good news. I can and I will be your guide to your financial freedom. Let's go.